He announced today he's asked Elise Stefanik, a congresswoman from New York, from upstate New York, to become UN ambassador. You know her. She's tough as nails. She's the one who cross-examined those heads of university like Harvard and MIT and just eviscerated them, leading to all the resignations. She'll be great at the UN. That'll be fun to watch. And you've got to hear what he did on immigration. This is so good. It's so good. If you voted for Trump, you're getting dividends already. He's announced that he's going to appoint this man named Tom Homan as his border czar. That's not a position that must be confirmed. So that's good because this guy can do what he wants. Hey, if Kamala Harris can be the border czar, so can Tom Homan. He served in the first Trump administration. He was acting director then of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And in his announcement, Trump said that Homan, quote, will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin. Homan reacted to the news this morning on Fox. Watch.
And look, I've seen some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way before we're going.
Tom, the last person who was border czar, she didn't want to be called border czar. You're proud of it, right?
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to look like a genius because when you follow failure, you can't help but succeed, right?
He began his career in immigration enforcement back in 1994 as a Border Patrol agent. And while his career background is important, the way he fires back at these bully Democrats on this issue and at the media is a thing of beauty. It's truly beautiful. Last month, he was interviewed by 60 Minutes. Watch.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Amazing. In 2019, Homan took part in a hearing on Capitol Hill. It's so good. About the Trump administration's border policies. He was accused by Democratic progressive congressmen of not caring about migrant children because of the color of their skin.
Do you understand that the consequences of separation of many children will be lifelong trauma and carried across generations? Have we not learned from the internment of Japanese Americans? Mr. Homan, I'm a father. Do you have children? How can you possibly allow this to happen under your watch? Do you not care? Is it because these children don't look like children that are around you? I don't get it. Have you ever held a deceased child in your arms?
First of all, your comments are disgusting. I've served my country.
I've
served my country for 34 years.
I find your comments disgusting as well.
I've served my country for 34 years. And yes, I held a 5-year-old boy in my arms in back of that tractor trailer. I knelt down beside him and said a prayer for him because I knew what his last 30 minutes of his life were like. And I had a 5-year-old son at the time. What I've been trying to do my 34 years serving my nation is to save lives. So for you to sit there and insult my integrity and my love for my country and for children, that's why this whole thing needs to be fixed. And you're the member of Congress.
We agree on that.
Fix it. Yeah. If you want to legalize illegal immigration, good luck with that, because it's going to get a hell of a lot worse on that border. If you say, okay, from now on, there will be no consequence, no deterrence. It's not illegal to come to this country illegally. More families will come. 31% women will be raped. More children would die. We're a nation of laws. If you don't like it, sir, change it. You're the legislator. I'm the executive branch. And I've served my country honorably for 34 years. And I will not sit here and have anybody say that I don't care about children because you're not the same color as my children.
He is amazing. This guy's incredible. We looked into that story he referenced of the 5-year-old boy that he was talking about that he did hold in his arms. It happened back in 2003. The boy died along with 19 others after being crammed into a tractor trailer with nearly 70 other migrants in total. They were being smuggled into the United States. This is how they do it. And they suffocated to death. Some tried to claw 2 holes through the truck's foam insulation just to try to get a breath of fresh air. Per a report by the Daily Signal, at the crime scene that day, Tom Homan was there. Homan said he directed the men taking the bodies away to save the child until last, to not remove his remains until last. Because he said, quote, I couldn't deal with it because I just kept seeing my son there. And he held that little boy. And then that idiotic representative walked right into that. Have you ever held a dead child? Yes, I have. I've seen the consequences. That's what Homan was saying of your disastrous policies. I'm the one who's got to clean up the bodies. There were reports at the time about that disastrous truck stop and the deaths. There were at least 62 people packed into this trailer. They were in a nearly airless, heat-baked container, despite the effort to get 2 holes in there so they could breathe. Most of the human cargo was male. That 5-year-old boy was the youngest, but there was a girl who was 15 that day, and she actually lived. Sheriff's deputies there brought her cake and cookies. So much for the evil Border Patrol guys who are there not caring about the brown people, like that representative is suggested. An emergency dispatcher received a 911 call from a man speaking Spanish. This is how they found out there was an emergency there, in broken English. At 11:42 p.m., the man was saying, we're asphyxiating. Help me, help me. We're asphyxiating. In Spanish, he said, we're in a trailer. We're illegals. This is the cost of that open border that people now, like Harris and Biden, have allowed for years. And by the way, the reports now are that we can expect the immigration problem to spike over the next couple of months until Trump gets there, that the illegals see, this is per the Daily Wire this morning, quoting from NBC, that they're anticipating January 20th as their deadline to get into this country. So what's Joe Biden going to do about it? Because you're going to get more deaths and more rapes of young girls and more families who ultimately get separated because these drug mules, these bad actors use the children, since we're against family separation, to get across the border. And the children are exploited time and time again. Tom Homan's been on the side of the angels on this. And he's being placed back in charge, and we should all celebrate his return. In that same hearing we just showed you, he also fired back at AOC, who, as always, thought that she knew better when she questioned him about the administration's zero-tolerance policy.
Mr. Homan, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy?
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero-tolerance memo.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father from his family.
Mr. Homan, with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way.
He's incredible. He's incredible, isn't he? My God. The EJs are back with me now, Emily and Eliana. I don't know what more, just as I was thinking, I don't know what more we could ask for. We get the announcement that Trump is putting Stephen Miller also on the immigration case. He's deputy assistant. What is he, Steve? Glossing over his official title. Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy on the immigration front. And he's the guy who came up with a lot of those policies that worked so well under Trump, like remain in Mexico and some of the executive orders that Trump signed requiring us to crack down on these BS asylum claims. That's a dream team, Emily.
Tom Homan is so interesting because one of the ways he first started, I think, really getting it in media is that he worked for the Obama administration. He's been given like an award by Barack Obama. And I think that's what gives him the confidence to go and talk to AOC like that, because he saw this flawed process from the inside. He saw it on the ground. And he's able to then sort of flip the script and say, this is zero tolerance. And you saw her kind of pause there. It was really interesting when he said it was a zero tolerance memo. She didn't totally know what to do with that because it's the script being flipped on her. And he's a great example of somebody who's able to do that with confidence and boldness, because he sort of has worked for the other side. He's talked to the other side. He's been friendly with the other side. And so he's able to just say, listen, I don't give a damn. Like, I've seen this. I know exactly what I'm talking about. And so he's a huge asset for Trump. Stephen Miller, somebody who is totally vilified in the press. And Trump isn't afraid to appoint him to a deputy chief of staff position. Great. So you're definitely seeing fearlessness. There's no hesitation from Donald Trump at all about bringing some of these people, no matter how vilified they are in the press. Stephen Miller is a genius. He is a genius, and he knows immigration better than almost anyone. And I'm thrilled that he's willing to take the risk with, his family, his wife, been called a white supremacist over and over. He was a newlywed. They were calling him terrible names. That's what's going to happen if you try to clean up the border. We've seen it time and time. So it does require nerves of steel to say yes to this. Homan looks like he's got him. We know Stephen Miller's got him. I'm overjoyed to see this, Eliana. And in the news today, too, Tom Homan making clear that President Trump's deportation priorities are not about people who are here unlawfully, who are abiding by the law now. I realize it's a crime to sneak into the country illegally across the border, but that's not the priority. The priority is the criminals who are here and causing havoc in the states. And in response to that, you already get like the Massachusetts governor coming out and saying, we will not cooperate. We will not. What happens is this person, Massachusetts is seeing a rash of rapes by these illegals in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And what happens when an illegal rapes somebody is they go to jail if they get arrested. And then you might find out that there's a detainer on them from ICE. They're in the system as like, hey, we're looking for this illegal. If you happen to catch this person committing a crime, please call us. And what happens in sanctuary cities or states like Massachusetts is the cops see that and they say, we don't give a shit. We don't care. We won't be calling ICE. We're going to release this guy back out into the general public like he's just like a shoplifter. And we are not going to be involving immigration authorities. And now the Massachusetts governor has gone on the record saying we will not be cooperating. We will maintain our status as a sanctuary state. And that's going to be the next battle as Trump tries to get the worst of the worst out of the country, Eliana. And the media will be on the wrong side.
I think there are a couple interesting things happening here with personnel. The first is the order with which these picks are being made. First you had Susie Wiles being named chief of staff, and she's a really interesting pick who couldn't be more different, I don't think, from Reince Priebus, who was Trump's first chief of staff last time around, who was somebody he didn't really know. I mean, Reince was running the RNC. Trump and the RNC weren't that close when he ran. Susie has been running his operation since 2021. And somebody who has really gained his trust and demonstrated an ability to manage both Trump and his operation. And the second is that the first appointments we're seeing coming from Trump are on immigration, which I think sends a signal to folks that he's going to take the issue seriously. The first appointment coming out wasn't the Secretary of State or the Secretary of Defense, but it was the immigration czar. And I do think that's intentional and sends a signal. And also to see, we haven't talked about Elise Stefanik going to the United Nations. She's someone who you talked about strong women. She's, I think, likely to be in the mold of Nikki Haley, who was there before, who will be an advocate for America and Israel on the world stage. And so thus far, we're seeing interesting appointments that I think are broadcasting the president-elect's intentions for what he intends to prioritize.
Grand Canyon University, a private Christian university in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, believes that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. GCU believes in equal opportunity and that the American dream starts with purpose. By honoring your career calling, you can impact your family, friends, and your community. Change the world for good by putting others before yourself. Whether your pursuit involves a bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree, GCU's online, on-campus, and hybrid learning environments are designed to help you achieve your unique academic, personal, and professional goals. With over 340 academic programs as of June of 24, GCU meets you where you are and provides a path to help you fulfill your dreams. The pursuit to serve others is yours. Let it flourish. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.